All right, Ken, I was told that you were a pretty good softball player back in the day, especially, but maybe even recently. I don't know. Is that true?
Uh, Always check your sources.
Okay.
In which case, this time your sources would tell you that you're half right. I mean, I was all right.
How
I was
half right?
okay on offense. It was kind of hard to hide me on defense. Every now
All
it's
right.
funny. Every now and then I would play the outfield every now and then, just if we were playing a real bad team. And I said, let me play a few innings in the outfield. And somebody hit a fly ball to me, say early, first, second inning, and I lumber over there, make the catch, and everybody go, "Hey, great!" Hey. And I go, "Hey guys, don't act like it's a big deal if I chase down a ball and caught it, because then they're going to think it's really weird for me to do that, and they're going to aim at me." So, ixnay on the applause there. Just calm down and put me back at first base as soon as
That's like we
possible.
can we can hide your glove at DH or something. But
Well, yeah,
that's where
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going with this.
I
That's where
was a
I'm going
Gold
with
Glove
this.
DH.
How many how many 2 for 3 days did you have, and would you call that a pretty good day at the plate?
You better at least go 2 for 3 in softball. Yeah, this is slow pitch
All right.
softball. It's not the good stuff. So yeah. If you don't go 2 for 3 or at least 3 for 5, you better bat 600 or better in slow pitch softball, or you might need to find another hobby,
Well, Kyle
or
Larson went
just
2 for 3 this weekend.
or just play in the church leagues. Yeah. Oh, I
Kyle
see where
Larson
you're
went
going,
two.
Kyle Larson.
Exactly. He goes 2 for 3 um, at Homestead. He wins the truck race on Friday. He wins the Cup Series race on Sunday. He almost wins the Xfinity race on Saturday, but kind of had this huge lead, and then an overtime restart is not too favorable to him. He ends up fourth. So he was kind of, I don't know, maybe not super excited about going 2 for 3. He wanted that perfect 1,000 batting average, but he gets that done. Just
Yeah.
what did you see from Larson this week, or what impressed you about Kyle Larson's run at Miami?
It seemed like he was there. He was wanting to prove a point, and I don't know why. There's a 2 or 3 weeks in the schedule this year where Hendrick is putting him in I think a truck, and then 2 or 3 other times where he's racing in an Xfinity car. And so this was his first of a couple of opportunities to do the three-peat. And he could have done it. I mean, Friday he had to work like hell to come back and win the truck race Friday. Saturday he was going to win that race going away, but a late caution with 8 laps left led to a 2-lap shootout at the end when they finally went back to green. And he's one of the rare folks out there who took no pleasure in a butt lift, because it's all the rage these days of plastic surgery. They want to tighten things up in the glutes. But he got his rear end lifted off the ground by Sam Mayer on the restart. Didn't get any traction. Wheels spun a little bit. You talk about spinning your wheels; it's never good. And so he couldn't get any traction. He ended up, finishing fourth. And then, of course, Sunday he won. But this week they're in Martinsville. Next, the week after that, Darlington. The following week is Bristol, and that's going to be his other opportunity to race Friday, Saturday, and Sunday during the race weekend. So he'll get another chance.
Absolutely, and we've seen this before, yes, but only twice. Can you name the other driver who has done the weekend, or the only driver who has completed a weekend sweep?
I can, because one of my favorite sources recently reminded me that was, of course, it's Kyle Busch. We refer to a three-peat as a Kyle Busch weekend. He's the only guy to do it. He did it at Bristol in Kansas, right? My sources say,
Correct.
or my sources
Correct.
correct? All right. This bit of trivia brought to you by Cottonelle. I've got a toilet paper. I got a toilet paper endorsement. What do you think about that?
That's not show and tell today, is it?
No,
All
that
right.
was not
All
a
right.
NASCAR freebie. I won't tell you how I got that one.
By the way, I saw the quote afterwards from Sam Mayer after the Xfinity race on Saturday. He
Yeah,
said something along the lines of, "Yeah, I might have mistimed that."
yeah,
I was like, "You think?"
yeah, just a wee bit. But he did explain, and he's got a point where if you're up front and you're the lead car on a restart, you get to determine where within that restart box, which is 100 yards long or 50 yards long or whatever, varies by track, I guess. You get to decide when in that restart box you punch the gas and go. And so the leader will toy with the guy behind him a little bit. He'll give it a little bit, take it, he'll toy with him. And I guess he toyed with him so well that Sam misjudged it and took away his traction, which is a nice way of putting it.
So he finishes fourth, and then in the Xfinity race on Sunday, he passes teammate Alex Bowman in the last 8 laps or so. And Bowman's had a pretty quiet but pretty good first 6 weeks or so here.
Yeah, I mean, he's been top 10. He's been somewhere between like 5th and 8th every week, or 5th, 4th, and 7th. Anyway, but finally got runner-up was his best finish of the year so far. And boy, he had a real chance to win. And, I referred to him as first time I ever thought about this, but at Hendrick Motorsports, they got a four-man team. I referred to him as the Pete Best of Team Hendrick right now. And he is the guy that if anybody's out of a job eventually, you tend to think he'd be the first one to go. And he's heard the rumors, that there are so many hot shots that Hendrick has their eyes on. And if anybody's going to be wedged out to bring in a hot young racer, Bowman seems to be the most logical choice because he's outperforming Chase Elliott, but it's not going to be Chase Elliott for obvious reasons. And it's certainly not going to be William Byron or Kyle Larson. But Bowman is signed through the 26th season. So he seems to be, and he bats down all the rumors and says, get out of here. And rightfully so, because they're not really don't seem to be coming from really substantial sources. But it is funny, though, how when a guy is rightly or wrongly rumored to be perhaps the odd man out, it's weird how they find horsepower. It's weird how often that happens. And Bowman is running really well right now and would not at all be surprised to see him win in the coming weeks.
I mean, you've written about that before, that desperation must lead to horsepower.
So there must be something. Pete Best, by the way, was the forgotten Beatle. He was their original drummer back in the early 60s and he was deemed to be the weak link. And that's when they brought in Ringo. Imagine somebody bringing in Ringo to gain strength at drumming. So he was not known as a technically classical drummer. Here I am showing off my musical knowledge. I'm just telling you what I've read from others.
I was literally about to ask you, maybe for our 18 to 35 demographic, who is Pete Best? But so I'm glad you know.
Everybody knows who Ringo is, thank goodness. So.
That's a pretty good name. That's a pretty big league name. That's hard to forget.
Yeah. Tell you this, though, everybody would have known who Pete Best was if not for, I think it was McCartney that ushered him away, I believe.
Sources tell you?
Yeah. Boy, that Cottonelle's a good toilet paper.
Let's go to your show and tell then. What do you got today?
I'm like the guys who never fail to be holding the Coca-Cola bottle when they're talking to them after qualifying. Today's show and tell, I got to clear something up. Last week I had that Richard Petty autographed baseball.
Right.
And you remember I said I can only think of maybe 1 or 2 times I've asked for an autograph as an adult. This is an autograph, but I didn't ask for it. Technically, it was given to me. Years ago, sitting at Smokey's garage in Daytona, he was signing some of these cards because he was putting them in the mail. People would write them and ask for an autograph picture. So, do you want one? And I go, yeah, what the hell? So I got a Smokey Unique autograph. I guess they call them hero cards, but this one's a little small for a hero card. He was a hyping champion spark plugs. His dogs were Junkyard and Goofy. But anyway, that's a Smokey Unique. I've actually got a couple of these. I got one that's a big, huge poster that his daughter gave me. Again, I didn't ask for it. It was given to me. So technically, I'm still correct. Not a shill.
I won't question you. But that's, again, okay. Big league.
But you can check eBay later. And I can't, you know why I won't put any of this stuff on eBay? Because I don't know how. I tried to sell something on eBay once. A few years ago, and I lost money. I sold it and I lost money on shipping. That's how technically savvy I am at these things. I had to quit selling stuff. I was broke.
If you continue teaching me about things like Pete Best, I'll show you eBay.
You're not just a source, but a little bit of IT help. That'd be great.
There you go. All right, Ken. Next week we're off to Martinsville, as you mentioned. Shortest track in the circuit. What do we learn at tracks like that?
Well, what we're hoping to learn is that the racing is good. The next gen era, which started in 22, has not been good for the little half milers and 3/4 milers. 3/4 miler being Richmond. It has not been a good short track package, as they like to say. So hopefully there's some back and forth, give and take, little flared elbows. Passing is hard. Passing's been hard on the short tracks the last few years, and there was some signs of improvement late last year, and hopefully there'll be more this year. I know it's something the boys at R&D have really worked on hard, and we'll see. So it's a funky track, it's shaped like a paper clip, and it's got them tight concrete corners. It's an odd track because it's asphalt and concrete. I think it's only 10 or 12 degrees in the corners. So it's it's a historic, neat old place, and hopefully it'll be conducive to some some action worthy of commercials and posters. Do they still make posters? If they do, let's hope.
You might be able to find a few on eBay. Yeah, and I know you're not a betting man, but if you were, you would probably not be picking Kyle Larson this week because you have your favorite stat of all time pertaining to him and his post-win trend, correct?
I don't have it, the technicalities, or I don't have the actual details and numbers in front of me, but it's broken down this way. After winning, he sucks. The last 2 or 3 years, his finishing position the week after winning the last 2 or 3 years is horrible. Now, this doesn't mean he, falls apart after winning, he relaxes. It generally means bad luck. He finished 34th. Like, he had a streak of 5 wins, I think it was, where 3 of them he finished 34th the next week, and one of them he finished like 32nd. So it's been that kind of thing the last couple of years with him. After he wins a race, something horrible happens the next week. And, a lot can go wrong with a short track like Martinsville, even more so than anywhere else. But I looked at the Hard Rock odds before we started this, and I thought for sure he would be favored this week because he's favored almost every week, even though he's won once in 6 tries. But no, Blaney is favored. Blaney is slightly favored with Kyle Larson, the second favorite for Martinsville. Blaney has a really good record there, and he's had horrible luck the last few weeks, and he's due to get rid of that. So any day now for Ryan Blaney.
One of these days, his engine is going to stay intact for an entire race.
She blowed up good. Yeah, blown engines used to be that used to be part of your grandpa's NASCAR, and that, it used to be nothing. A few times a race, you see a big puff of smoke and pieces of metal falling out of the broken engine, and they'd have to come sweep up, and then they'd put kitty litter down on the oil spill, and she throwed a rod, as they say, and blowed up good, and they'd take it behind a wall and fix it and get back out there the next week. Now you see about one every 2 months. Blaney's done it twice in 3 weeks, so odd.
You ready for this plug? This book plug. I was reading a just incredible Daytona 500 book by I think it was by Ken Willis, actually. And the amount of times that I read in there from like 1960 to 2000, he blew an engine on lap 150,
yep.
Or got halfway through the race and blew an engine. It was like every other year. So that the leader was doing that, it felt like. So of course my stats are way off on that, but that kind of goes to show your point there.
Of all the great things modern technology has done, boy, the engines in automobiles, and I don't know how much of that technology has filtered down from racing to street cars, but some of it has, endurance racing in particular on the sports car side. But the modern car, man, it used to be when I was young, you'd hit 100,000 miles, you'd be, don't buy any green bananas for this car because it ain't long for the earth. Nowadays, it's just now starting to feel broken in. It's feeling good now. Never ran better. So 100,000 miles is nothing nowadays, and part of that's due to all the technology and things that they've learned in every facet, including auto racing.
I think that's all I got for you this week. Anything else we should mention before we're off to Martinsville?
No, I don't think so. I think it's a wrap. That's TV talk right there.
If you say it's a wrap, We'll go with it. Next week, we'll wear matching shirts again. That's Ken Willis. I'm Chris Vanell. This has been Daytona Beach Motor Mouths. We will see you next week.